Hello everybody, my name is Benji, and welcome back to Mindustry, specifically Exogenesis. Now, I did just go through and reinstall Exogenesis. I have not taken a look at anything yet, but I know that there have been some changes because I've been seeing comments about it in the comment section, as well as I have been in contact with mod developer, and already you can see that there are some things missing from the base, which is a little bit of a shame. So there were some balance changes from Exogenesis, and that's primarily what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be looking at the balance changes, we're going to be looking at hopefully some new buildings, but first we're also going to have to be looking at some outposting. Making some zones, that way we can import materials into places that don't have those materials, like silica, graphite, graphene, that kind of stuff. So, first thing that I'm noticing here is the graphite press is gone. And that makes me very sad, because the graphite press was really powerful. It let you get a lot of graphite for very little coal. It was free. There was no energy cost associated with it. So I'm really sad that that is gone. I know that a couple of other buildings have gone through some balance changes as well. I just don't know exactly what those are. Like, I know that there's the plastinium press, which I think has not changed. Upgrade of the furnace. Looks like that has gone through some changes, because I remember that being more cost effective. Or I could just be remembering wrong, I'm not honestly sure. It looks like we will be able to go back, yep, we will be able to go back to Eric here now and start with the nuclear fusion furnace, because that has been fixed. Very, very happy about that. The thermal, sadly, has not been fixed yet by the look of things. Contra looks about the same, except the gamma radiation. It's cool, and then the irradiation kiln is probably just an upgrade to that, which is... Genesux, this is where the most of the balance changes have occurred, I'm pretty sure, because, yeah, there used to be pressurizer, but now the pressurizer is gone. Crystallizer is still the same. Looks like the silica oven is still the same. Stellar furnace looks like it's still the same. Cold plasma generator I wouldn't remember, and cold plasma splitter I wouldn't really remember either. Silica kiln is still here. That still looks about the same, which the silica kiln and the silica oven are still better options in terms of silica than just these, because this is 1 coal to 1 silica. Actually, never mind. Never mind, because it's... yeah, I think it's the same, actually. Because this is 1 coal to 1 silica. This is 2 coal to 1 graphite. And then this is 1 graphite to 1 astrolite. And 1 astrolite to 1 silica. So I think it's actually the same. Yeah, it is, because it's 2 coal per graphite, and then 1 graphite per 2, or 1 graphite per astrolite, actually. So it's actually less effective now. I think that balance has gone too far, actually. At first I thought it would be fine, but I think that that has actually gone too far in the wrong direction. Because, yeah, it was really powerful to have 2 silica per coal, but there were some intermediate steps in there, versus now that's just all gone. So that old blueprint will no longer work. Yeah, this one won't work anymore. My blast will still work, the cold plasma won't work anymore, the astrolite tier 1 won't work anymore, the astrum generator won't work anymore. Any other blueprints of mine that are broken, the stellar steel won't work anymore, silica exo won't work anymore. Ooh, updated scatter graphics. Like that. That's very nice. Graphite tier 1 won't work anymore. Pretty much all of my graphite builds, or anything that involves graphite builds, are no longer operational, which is sad, and I am sad about it, but at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. I can redesign it bigger, better, and it'll all be fine, especially now since I actually have some other materials that I can work with, like I have the multi-press, which I originally was not gonna use the multi-press at all, but now it's gonna be more effective than just the standard graphite press, which is 2 to 1, because this is a 3 to 2, which is a 1.5 to 1, which is much, much better. And then the Silica Crucible as well, I'll be messing around with, because the only additional input for pyrrhotite is lead. So I guess that's probably going to be the first thing that I have to do, is figure out some new blueprints and things of that nature, and just figure out what the heck are we going to actually be doing. So let me redesign a couple of things, just start from the ground up and go through all of these as I can, and see what possibilities we have. Before I do that, though, I can have phase. Somebody mentioned something about phase the other day, so I looked again. Yeah, I can do phase, but I don't think I want to yet. What I want is this, the furnace, the upgraded kiln. So I'm just going to start all the way back at copper. I'm going to work my way down and across all of this and do some specialty blueprints, and that's basically going to be today's whole episode, in all honesty. And you know what? Somebody in the comment section asked to see the process. So let me go on ahead and do that real fast for at least one of these. Because I don't need to do it for every single one of these. That would just be really boring, and that's what streams are for, and that's why I'm letting streams for Exogenesis and everything like that come back. So I'll only show it for this one. And then we will continue. So first of all, we need our mining. It's 1 pump per drill. One of the standard copper pumps per drill. Because each of these takes 5 per second, roughly. And these output 7 per second, so, and they're so cheap that you may as well just do this. So copper is solved by the mining guys, these guys. The lead is also solved by those guys. Metaglass we're gonna skip for now. We're gonna work first on graphite. So I did have a multi-press design once upon a time that relied very, very heavily on these water extractors. I don't think I want that to be the case anymore. So what's the input rate of these? Each one inputs at a rate of 6 per second, and then outputs at a rate of 4 per second. So we will be able to support 2 of these off of 1 titanium belt. So I'll go on ahead and just do some underflow gates for that, and then we can also replicate it again on the other side with another edition of these. But I think I want to move it, that way it's a little more compact, like that. Yep, that works. And then we can mirror this on the other side, just like that. Then for the water, I think I would like to have them this. Get rid of that. Give me power node. Disconnect everything. Like that. And then in terms of the output, we put all into a central area like this. Very nice. And then if I felt like having the water extractors as an addition to this build, what I could do is I could either put them here and here. I think I actually might just go on ahead and do, because I can get rid of the middleman of the conveyor belt. And then do that, and that. Again, disconnect all of that. Okay, we're gonna have to move the power node to make sure that it all still looks pretty nice. That's like the one thing that is always super important to me, is having these builds look pretty clean. And then if I ever do end up wanting to have liquid conduits coming in instead of the water extractors, that's that solved. So before I start it, and this is something that I've learned from playing Factorio Space Exploration, I want to actually start the builds before I actually allow them to be put into my blueprint library, because if there's a problem, I'll be able to find that problem. And obviously we don't have enough coal to perfectly sustain this. However, it does look like it is quite beautiful. Oops, except for this one. That one's working good. It's actually outputting. That one's working good. It's actually outputting. Okay, cool. So now we'll go on ahead, save that as graphite T2. Add a tag for the graphite, and boom. So that's essentially the process that I follow for this kind of stuff. The next one that I'll showcase here is my upgraded silica idea, and I've been putting this one around in my noggin for a while now. I'll go on ahead and get this. I can get rid of the stellar steel as well, because it's not doing anything right now, so we can straight up get rid of all of this stuff. That, just clear out some space, clear out my inputs and whatnot. So I've had this mulling around in my head for a while, the Silica Crucible. And the reason why this has been mulling around in my head is because this needs coal, sand, and pyrrhotite. But pyrrhotite only needs coal, sand, and a little bit of lead. Now, this needs pyrrhotite at a rate of 0.6 per second, and this produces at 0.75, so they can go right next to each other, and that'll be fine. The coal and the sand needs to go to both of them, so we could just do this. And I did see somebody talking about the armored conveyors and using those instead of the titanium and the junctions, but I kind of like the look of the junctions, as well as the fact that they just work fine. So I don't really see a need to change my designs all that much, for basically no reason. So we'll have these right next to each other. We'll have a power node right there. That'll be fine. And then we can have this bottom belt here be like coal or sand or whatever. So we can have that. And then this one will just that. And then I don't even need to do that. I just need the one, just like that. And then we can have the silica come out like this. And again, we can do junctions there instead, and have it like this. And then, yeah, technically I could do junctions here and here. That way the belt is reversible. And actually, you know what? I might do these top ones. So now let's go on ahead and grab that. We can route lead from air over to here. And then for right now, I'm just going to put down Z to flip. And then lead has to be the top. So this can do this, this. And how many of these can be supported? 3 of them. Because the sand is going to be the bottleneck. Sand at 4 per second. Titanium belts fit either 12 or they fit more than 12. I don't actually remember. It's either 10 or 12. I remember it being 10 and then they changed it at some point to be higher than that. So I don't know what it is right now. I could go check, but I'm lazy. Now I'll check. 11. So yeah, the sand is going to be the bottleneck, but not by that much. And now let's just make sure that this is working. Ooh, I see a problem already. How do I fix that? I think the only way for me to fix that is to lengthen it by 1. Like this. Like this. And you know what? I think actually we're only going to be able to fit 2 on here, because this takes 4 per second, but then this takes another 1.5 per second. So that's an important distinction to be made. And then we can just route this down and in. Perfect. What's your problem? Your problem was pyrite. Now your problem is no longer pyrite. And what's the rate that these guys expel at? 5.3 at full efficiency? I think that'll be good. Alright, cool. So now we just grab this and do silicon T2. Put the silica tag on it. And there we go. Nice and done. So that's sort of the process. I hope that's been enlightening. I'll do more of that kind of stuff on stream, but for now, I'm just going to continue making designs, and then I'll bring you guys back and give you a tour when I'm done. See you in a second. Alright, first off, of course it starts dust storming as soon as I unpause. First up is the new blueprints that I have done for all of the Arakir stuff. We'll do, or not the Arakir, the Serpilo stuff. We'll do the Arakir new thing, which I just unlocked when we transfer over to Arakir in a second. That'll be the second batch. So, first of all, furnaces, the upgraded kilns, super easy. They're just right here. Not even a worry. Graphite going into Astrolite is a bit of a pain in the butt, but here it is. It's just a multi-press and 2 Astrolite generators. It doesn't really get much more than that. Also, oops. I'll have to fix that. Already showed off silica. Here's stellar steel. Coal gets turned into graphite, gets turned into astrolite. Astrolite and titanium get turned into silica and stellar steel, which gets sorted using the container and filters. Super duper easy. Super duper not hard. And that's everything that got broken. The graphite has been fixed. Silica has been fixed with a bit of an upgrade due to the plastanium. The astrolite has been fixed again. Oh, I don't even need plastanium for this. I just need plastanium for. So that's all super duper done, dealt with, and nice and easy. So I don't even need to worry about that at all. I do need to fix this real quick. Yeah, that's gonna be. It's also just gonna end up being really, really slow production file, which will have to be fine. I'm gonna head over to Arakir next, and then get to work on the Primodrium Iron setup. And when the Primodrium Iron is nice, done, dealt with, and finished, I will go on ahead and bring you guys back in and show off my design for that. So yeah, see you in a minute. Alright, and last thing for today is the Primodrium Iron, which was not too hard to get online, although I'll probably end up upgrading this blueprint in the future. Right now it takes a lot of things as input, and it's really wide, but that's just because of the fact that I don't actually have any heaters yet. I only have heat redirectors, which, you know, really, really sucks. But essentially it just takes beryllium, titanium, or beryllium, tungsten, sand, and graphite. The graphite and beryllium create the vulcanite in Vulcanite's a space exploration thing, too. In the Ignition Forge, sand and graphite create silica in the silica arc furnace. Beryllium and oxide or ozone create oxide in the oxidation chambers, which also output heat. That heat is then redirected with the heat redirectors into the nuclear fusion furnaces, which then get us our Primodrium Iron, which is super nice because now, with the Primodrium Iron, we have unlocked a whole bunch of things. First of all, the Soltux Stronghold and Soltux Bulwark are two things. And then apparently there's another Soltux Bulwark. Solar Vanquisher. And the Helios. And I remember the Ignis. Yeah, I remember the Ignis being a thing. I don't know if I checked out the Helios at all. I feel like I did. This one does currently have its whole thing. Wow, 200 damage? What's the range on this? 25 blocks need an input of heat units as well. Superheats its ammo to produce powerful laser blasts. That seems pretty cool. 400 Primodrium Iron for it, though. Brimstone input of slag and silica or Primodrium. Although, honestly, I think the silica is probably going to be the best because of the homing. Vulcanite would be a cheap alternative option, though. Plus, the slag input is going to be a thing. Targets air and ground. Very short range, but lots of damage. So that'll end up being like a last resort. And then the thermal is still a thing. It's just an input of slag with the frag bullets. So, but it's also still has a bit of an issue. I'll try to actually remember to contact the mod dev about that. And then the Hadal Furnace, able to produce more Alphendax iron through extreme temperatures, uses more materials to do so. Surge alloy. But more Primodrium Iron. Kind of a trade-off there. And then, of course, we do then have the next tiers of units, which I think I checked out the tier 3s. Might not have checked out the tier 3s. No, I have not checked out the tier 3s. The tier 3s require thorium, and thorium is not a thing that I actually have yet. Yeah, the Soltux Reconstructor. I've only checked out the second tier of things. I don't have access to the third tier of things just yet. Yeah, that's gonna appear here probably, so that's something we're definitely going to have to check out next time when I actually have thorium. Right now, I do still have some surge, so I'm still just going to research all of my surge things. There we go. Electric heater, heat router. But electric heaters are very inefficient. They only produce 3 heat units for 100 power per second. Slag heaters are really the way to go, but we need to go to Caldera for that. So that'll have to be something that we get into a little bit next time, as well as getting into some more things on Serpulo next time as well. I hit the button. Good. Next time here on Serpulo, I will be setting up some launch platforms from here, the launch pads, so that we can launch some of the primary resources like plastanium. That's about it, because the rest of it I can pretty much make anywhere right now, but the plastanium is required for silica and also for the tier 2 of the kilns, so I would like to launch with plastanium. And we're just gonna settle into some zones a little bit more. We're gonna really prioritize turning some of these into a little bit better of production zones. Like 210 has a lot of sand that's currently being utilized, or currently not being utilized, in addition to some lead as well. So the sand and the lead, this will maybe be like a silica production zone or something along those lines. Fungal Pass doesn't have a lot of space. Overgrowth doesn't have a lot of anything. 133 absolutely sucks in terms of silica, but it does have a lot of thorium. And also, it does have some sand down here, so I might actually be able to rethink that a little bit. Some sand and some lead and some other. But I'm going to be eyeballing some zones and making some plans so that we can actually end up having some primary production zone. And I don't know entirely if this would work properly, but never mind. I'm not even going to bring that up, because I feel like that's just not even going to be a possibility. So we're going to have a couple of zones for specific purposes. Like, I think this zone, just looking at it, with the high amounts of coal and not a lot of sand, plus the little bit of sand that it does have down here, this is probably going to end up being our main production zone, exporting titanium, thorium, possibly some altuxium, rubidium, valvanite, maybe some osmium, but that does require a silica input, and more than likely metaglass, because there's a lot of sand and lead down here, but not a lot of coal down here. And essentially, this zone is just going to pipe all of those, instead of toward the core, they're going to pipe them toward dedicated launch pads. Then, whenever we go out to conquer some more zones, like Terraformed or Impact 0078, we will be able to go to these zones for production first, and then export stuff to the zone that we're going to be conquering. So that's all stuff that we're going to dive into next time. So for now, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. This video is bag, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, y'all.